part of this is that Vincent, I think, is going to probably be accused of having some role in starting the COVID pandemic. And that is because, again, Vincent studies emerging coronaviruses, just like I do, and just like many of my other colleagues do. That means that we've looked at SARS coronavirus, we've looked at MERS coronavirus. There is no evidence whatsoever that Vincent or anybody else in the US, in China, anywhere, had access to a progenitor virus to SARS coronavirus 2, which is exactly what you would need to have in order to start the pandemic. There's no evidence that Vincent had anything to do with the emergence of SARS coronavirus 2, but I think that that's what he and other colleagues of mine are going to be accused of. Other colleagues of mine, and possibly me, doubt it, but maybe, are going to be accused of covering it up. And we've already seen people who are in this orbit. My colleague and friend, David Warrens, for example, was correctly charged with trying to evade public records laws. However, should he, as a 78-year-old lifetime retired service member in the public health service, face 58 years in federal prison for just basically wanting to talk shit with other academics and not have it be public? It wasn't right for him to ask to evade, use Gmail instead of his work email so that it wouldn't show up in a public records request. But is it, does that punishment fit the crime? In this case, however, this is even more alarming because Vincent did not commit a crime.
Developing news suggesting that the CBS News Detroit newsroom, the FBI says two researchers with the National Institutes of Health have been charged with conspiracy to smuggle monkeypox into the U.S. through
my expert knowledge, knowing what this
Vincent
type of
Munster and
stuff
Claude
is,
Quay,
and knowing what
both
type
working
of work
out of
this is,
NIH's Rocky Mountain Laboratory, were arrested back in
there is no
January
way that this
after they
was
arrived at DTW from the Republic of Congo. Investigators say they lied about the contents of more than 100 vials that they had in styrofoam coolers.
What are these samples?
So far, 20 of those vials have been tested. Officials say 17 of them had deactivated monkeypox virus.
Monkeypox, also called MPox, is an infectious virus that can result in a painful rash, enlarged lymph nodes, fevers, and other conditions.
Bringing charges against them, and there's no reason for it. This is the most undemocratic thing I've ever seen, and it's frankly really, really terrifying because Vincent is essentially being set up to achieve a political goal. Now, what I think that political goal is that if the pandemic started with a lab leak, and it started with an NIAID employee, let me remind you also of who the director of NIAID used to be. That would be one Anthony S. Fauci, who, Trump and the entire administration despise. So they want to pin the pandemic on Fauci. So what better than a foreign national working at NIAID who does all this very virus research, studied SARS-related coronaviruses and other emerging coronaviruses before the pandemic, associated with other people who are also being accused of reckless virology, who were funded by NIH and their external academic labs. All of this is going to motivate people to say, and I think this is the idea, well, we don't want to be doing any more of this virology research. And in fact, all research is bad. All research could lead to accidents. This is really terrible, and we shouldn't allow these reckless people to be doing this work. What is the point of all of this? Where is my new drug or whatever? Why did we have a pandemic? Because all of us suck at our jobs, I guess, and we're all trying to start lab leaks because we just want to do reckless virology all the time. None of that's true. But you know what shutting down research would do? It would return a lot of money back to the executive branch, potentially. We said we're not having a national research program anymore. Congress has no budget to appropriate for it. And guess where all that money sits? With Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Pott, who wants to completely can all research, who wants to completely can all research grants because they want that money in the executive branch to consolidate and centralize power, undermine our democracy even further, which is exactly what this does. This is arresting a scientist for being a scientist who happens to work for the U.S. government on behalf of the U.S. people. And this should terrify everybody. We are going after you if you just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time doing your job, which you have done in an exemplary way for your entire career. So I want to just let my colleague Vincent Munster know that I have so much respect for you, and I'm so sorry that this is happening to you. I am here to speak up on your behalf and on behalf of all of our colleagues who are being unfairly targeted by this administration, and on behalf of all Americans who are being unfairly targeted and set up by this administration in its efforts to further undermine democracy and impose authoritarianism on all of us. So with that, I'm going to sign off because in about 45 minutes, I've got a whole other shit show to deal with because Turbo Cancer Day is in session over at the Homeland Security and Government Accountability Committee at the Senate. Today, the Permanent Investigation Subcommittee is going to be having a nice little chat with a bunch of different anti-vaxxers who are going to make a bunch of bullshit turbo cancer claims. So me and hopefully Jessica Mallard Rivera, if she can join me, she's traveling today, will be debunking those all afternoon. So stay tuned for that. If you want to know more about what's going on with these attacks on science and democracy, I'm going to continue talking about it and writing about it. So continue to subscribe and follow for more information. I'm getting better at this. Okay, thanks guys. See you tomorrow.